Hey guys, this is the second video for today's lesson, and now I'm going to preview the passage that you are going to be reading called Salmon Creek. The first part of the passage is called rhyming nonfiction, and we haven't really had this one before. So let's look at some of the characteristics that we're going to see with this passage. First of all, it tells us that rhyming nonfiction is going to give us information. It's nonfiction, so it's going to be informational. It's going to tell you something, and it's going to use facts to tell us about that subject. There might be diagrams, photographs, or other illustrations. And it's going to contain information that you can check in other sources, such as encyclopedias or newspapers. Something that makes it different from just any kind of nonfiction is that words that rhyme are used. So as you're listening to the story, I want you to be looking for those rhyming words throughout the passage. It uses the words that rhyme to present information in a more entertaining way, to keep your attention and to help you remember. The last part of the passage is narrative nonfiction. Once again, this means it's going to have facts about real people, places, or events, but it's going to be shaped into the form of a story in order to kind of help you follow along with the process or cycle that we know this is a part of what we've been talking about in this unit. It's going to use real people that become the characters, real places that become the settings, and the real events become the plot. So it is a story, but it's real, and we can check it, and it's factual. Sometimes an author might add information about what a particular character is thinking or feeling, even though the author would not really know this information, but it's still going to be considered narrative nonfiction. Some background information that you need to know is that this story is going to be about the life cycle of a salmon. And if you know anything about salmon, it's a large fish, usually found in some colder waters. They live in the Pacific Northwest, and they move between freshwater streams and saltwater of the Pacific Ocean over their lifetime. It's part of their life cycle. The essential question for this passage is, what are some similarities that natural cycles share? So kind of comparing some of these different cycles and how they can be familiar. Before you read, I want you to kind of click through the story and think about what you already know and what you want to know. And as you're reading, some things that I want you to work on to practice are visualizing. So stopping and trying to visualize, picture in your mind what the author is trying to describe. Remember, this is something we should be doing every time we're reading, picturing in our mind, using those sensory details to help paint a picture in our mind. And the other one is to stop and clarify. While you're listening to this on the computer, there is a pause button, guys, so you can stop and look at the illustrations, look up a definition, try to connect the information, or even go back and reread a section that you didn't understand, okay? So use that pause button and make sure that you go back and you clarify when you're not understanding something that you have read. Okay, and when we return the following day, we will discuss the selection together.